Hello there, and welcome to Fleming Film Talk with me, Robbie Fleming, and joining me as always is Justin Doyle. Hello, Justin.
Hello, Rub, and everyone out there. How's it going?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. This is the first episode we've done for a very long time.
It's been a couple weeks, yeah. We'll try to
Yes,
make it more, weekly, but
yes,
yeah,
yes. But luckily, I had Colin and Cody talk Fight Club with me last week.
very nice. A
Yes,
Fleming Award winner.
yes, yes. And today we are going to be talking about a director who is very good with twists, but most of his films are hit, and there are some that are misses.
Which is who?
M. Night Shyamalan.
That's right. And in classic M. Night Shyamalan form, instead of going from worst to best, we are going to do it from best to worst.
Yes, yes.
That's a twist.
Yes, and I just want to point out we won't be mentioning his first film, Praying with Anger, because it's not a studio movie, but we are talking about his other 14, which are Wide Awake, The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, The Village,
Glass, Split,
Glass, Split,
The Last Airbender.
Last Airbender, The Happening, After Earth, Old Lady in the Water, and his brand new movie, Knock at the Cabin.
Yes, Knock Knock, which you had not seen until just recently, right?
Yes, and I can't wait to talk about it because it is a movie with a lot to talk about.
Yeah, the movies that I had not seen were Wide Awake and The Lady in the Water. So I have now seen them and can rank with you.
Lovely, lovely. Can I go first with my favourite M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Yeah, sure. We might be talking about the same one, so let's see.
Yes, so my number one is technically a sequel, but you don't know it's a sequel until the ending of the movie. But this focuses on a completely different storyline. This would be an argument whether this is an original or an adapted screenplay, but I think this is a brand new original story starring Anya Taylor-Joy and the man who I thought gave the best performance of 2016, James McAvoy. This is Split.
Not on my top of the list. It's a little bit further down. But yeah, really good movie, and we shall talk more about it in a bit.
Yes.
All right. My number one is I mean it's there's no reason not to have this at number one. It had the biggest buzz. It really launched M. Night into a whole new career. He became the man with the twists. He became a horror sort of director. And this movie had a lot of buzz and did pretty well overall. And even for at the Oscars being nominated for six. And speaking of six, this movie is The Sixth Sense.
Which is my number two.
So let's chat about it.
Yes.
Sixth Sense is we have Haley Joel Osment and Bruce Willis, Toni Collette, Donnie Wahlberg, but this is about a young boy who says that he can see dead people, and he encounters them and convinces, and he gets convinced to help them along. And in turn, he also is trying to help Malcolm reconcile with his estranged wife.
Yes. Yes. This movie is quite clever. It's quite
Yeah, very
clever
smart.
because you think it's a film about a boy and his psychologist, and by the end, it becomes a completely different story.
You're right.
And this movie is best to watch twice because the second time round, you witness and see all the hints towards that. ending, and it builds itself up. And another aspect I also love, and I think this is his best work, it's James Newton Howard's score. His scores can be forgettable, but this is one of his that you will not forget because it's so chilling.
Yeah, and the performance from Haley Joel Osment and Bruce Willis both are
And
very
Tony
stellar.
Collette.
Yeah, of course, Toni Collette got nominated for supporting actress, I believe.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, this movie became something that people mimicked a lot. Saturday Night Live was doing it. There's movies that were coming out mimicking it.
Family Guy
Yeah,
has mimicked it.
right. And then, yeah, I mean, everyone was just talking about like, oh, there's a crazy twist in the end, and crazy twist. You'll never see it coming. And yeah, I was surprised and didn't see it coming all the way through. And then, watching this in the movie theater, I was just blown away by the outcome. And I think M. Night did a great job making us believe one thing and then actually having it be something else. But yeah, rated number 143 overall on IMDb. Nominated for 6 Oscars, including Best Picture. Haley Joel Osment for supporting role, even though I think he was the lead. Best actress in a supporting role for Toni Collette, and then director for M. Night, writing for M. Night, and film editing.
How come Bruce didn't get nominated?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. And has he ever been?
No, I don't
I
think
don't,
he has.
I don't think he has either.
And he's not going to anytime soon because he's retired now.
Yeah, unfortunately. Get well, Bruce. Get well.
Yeah.
Thank you for all that you've done for us.
Apart from the direct to DVD movies.
Yeah. Well, even some of those I think are not bad. I hear that he just comes in, for a day and just does his parts and then bounces out
Yeah,
and goes straight to
I
DVD
have a
movies.
feeling that's what Morgan Freeman does now.
Well, he'll be in something this year, I believe. $40 million budget, worldwide gross is 672.8. 8.2 on IMDb. And over on, did this win any Fleming Awards?
No, but it did win some Halloween Pumpkin Awards.
There you go. 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, 90% on for the audience score.
Lovely, in it. Once I get up the Halloween Pumpkins, I'll tell you which ones it won. So I remember 1999 was a good year for horror, so there was a good mix of films I had not. Oh, here it is. Best horror film, best horror director, best horror actor for Bruce Willis, best horror supporting actor for Haley Joel Osment, best horror supporting actress for Toni Collette, best cast, best screenplay, and best score.
Well, that's a bunch of pumpkins.
Yes.
All right. Well, since that was your number two, I'll talk about my number two. Well, I guess we'll have to talk about it a little bit later on. But my number two, this is also stars one of my all-time favorite actors. Unfortunately, he has some past that got him in trouble, but also stars one of my new favorite actors. This is a movie about aliens starring Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix, and it's Signs.
There is quite a bit down, and I'll explain why later on.
Love me some Signs. Mel Gibson, Joaquin Phoenix, two of the best actors ever, and they're together in this M. Night movie.
They're both good in it.
Yeah, very, very good. And the movie's interesting. Swing Away. This one had a lot of buzz too when it came out.
Yes.
I believe, yeah. M. Night was able to do anything he wanted after Sixth Sense, and so he was doing some good stuff after. All right, what is your number three?
My number three, I have never been impressed with an M. Night Shyamalan film, and this year he really surprised me with Knock at the Cabin.
Not your number three.
Yeah, that's my number 3.
Wow. Okay, well, that is further down my list. So we shall chat about it later.
Yeah.
Let's see if my number 3 is your number 4. So maybe we can talk about this. You had mentioned a movie called Split, and it could be a sequel or was a sequel. Didn't know that it was until after. Well, the one that came before it is my number 3, and it's Unbreakable.
That's one more down for me.
We'll talk about it in one more then. So it's your number 4.
All right, so my number 4 is an interesting choice for me because I do not like found footage movies, but him doing a parody of a found footage movie and actually giving it an interesting plot is something he should do, and it's smart because he can do this kind of stuff when he tries, and him trying to do his own found footage movie, but with his writing skills works. And my number 4 is The Visit.
A little bit further down my list, as I'm assuming my number 4 is further down on your list because I know that you don't like this movie, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was something different from what we've seen from M. Night before, and not a lot of horror elements to it, but a really good vacation movie, and it's called Old.
Yeah, a lot further down my list.
Yeah, I know. I'm one of the only ones who really enjoyed this movie, but I liked it a lot,
Yeah. Oh
and we'll
yeah.
talk about it.
But
Okay,
my
so now we can talk about your number 5.
Unbreakable, which blew my mind the first time I watched it because I went in completely blind, not knowing anything about it, and seeing a realistic take on the superhero story really, really worked, and that twist just topped it.
Yeah. Unbreakable is a sort of a superhero movie without capes and, well, I guess there's a cape in it, but without, what we actually know as superheroes flying around saving people. This is M. Night's sort of his own little comic that he created and gave to us. And it was really good, really interesting. Bruce Willis is back. This is the follow up to Sixth Sense. Came right after.
Yeah,
Samuel L. Jackson's in this as well. Robin Wright, and yeah, Michael Kelly, who we've seen a bunch. Yeah, this is a man who learned something extraordinary about himself after a devastating accident, and he tries to find sort of people like him.
yes, yes, and he meets this man who's the opposite of him, who can easily break any bone in his body,
Yeah, Samuel
and
L.
he's obsessed with superheroes and comic books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sort of Bruce Willis is. The movie starts with the bus crash, right?
Train crash.
A train crash, and he was able to walk away unscathed without any marks and
Yes,
bruises, nothing.
and at the start it shows that he cheats on his wife.
Yeah. So he, not all heroes are perfect.
Yeah,
Was just really interesting, especially coming off the heels of Sixth Sense. It's completely different. Yeah, of course, there's the twist as always, but it's not necessarily scary. No horror real elements to it, but
no,
keeps you thinking throughout the entire movie. Very mystery, very sort of sci-fi. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie, and like we talked about, couldn't have the 2 other movies that came after it if it wasn't for this.
yes,
Did pretty well at the box office, $75 million budget, worldwide gross 248.1, sitting at 7.3 on IMDb. 70% from the Rotten Tomatoes and 77% audience score.
nice. No, it's a great movie. There are parts that do kind of feel a bit slow, but I know M Night is like a slow burner kind of guy, and that's why I kind of have more the patience for his movies.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's methodical for sure.
Yeah.
Knows what he's going for. All righty. Well, so that was your number five. My number three. My number five is your number one. So let's talk Split.
Yes, we can. So it means we get to talk about them in order then.
Right. It sounds like it.
So, yeah, Split is about this man called Kevin Wendell Crumb who has 23 personalities. He kidnaps three girls and plans to feed them to his 24th personality, which is this beast creature.
It's about to be unleashed. Yeah, James McAvoy's performance in this movie is one of his best performances
How
ever.
come he never? How yeah, like you talk about how Denzel and Casey Affleck were great in 2016, but why wasn't James nominated?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell when it comes to what makes somebody an Oscar a nominated performer when you're giving great performances like this and then they don't even get talked about even in as far as the race is concerned.
Yes.
I mean, was he sixth? Was he gonna be sixth in line? I mean, who knows? He should have been. It should have been up there because this was a fantastic performance. And when you do different personalities like this, it could be tough,
All I
It could,
will say
but he
is
pulled it
don't
off.
go into this movie thinking it's going to give you a true story about mental health and identity disorder because that's not the case. I know this film is all fictional.
Oh yeah, I mean this is a made up movie.
Yeah, like I think Joker did the mental health kind of representation better.
hmm hmm Yeah, on you mentioned Anya Taylor Joy's in this. This was sort of our first sort of look at it, right?
Uh, Apart from the witch.
hmm James McAvoy, and then of course M Night likes to pop in his movies every once in a while, and he popped in this one.
Yeah, yeah, it's revealed in Glass that his two characters are the exact same person in Split and Unbreakable. They're all the same. That's the same character.
Yeah, which is great. I love when you can franchise off of something that's not necessarily known or something that you would franchise off of, like Marvel or something that's Disney. Um, but to franchise off of Unbreakable and make this sort of sequel Split really worked out. And yeah, you don't really find out until the end that it is a sequel, but I love that we found out that they were all living in the same world.
Yes.
Um, what else do you have to say about this?
Yeah, James McAvoy gives a fantastic performance. We finally get to see Anya Taylor Joy like shine again. Whoever Betty Buckley is, she's really good in the as Dr. Fletcher.
hmm
And the other two girls are okay. I just wish we got to explore them because we know a lot about Casey and Kevin. We know all the other characters just kind of there.
Yeah, they're the throwaways.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty good movie. 7.3 on IMDb. Budget of $9 million. Worldwide gross 278.4. That's insane. So far, he has done well with the movie's budget to uh, rake in.
He's good to work with a low budget and still make a film that's just as good looking as Unbreakable.
Yeah, 78% on Rotten Tomatoes, 79% for the audience.
But mind you, I don't think he needed like much budget with a film like Split that only really takes place in one room.
Yeah, pretty much, and not too many characters either.
Yeah.
But McAvoy, boy, oh boy,
One of the
what a
all-time
performance!
great performances, that is.
Yeah. All right, your number 6.
So my number 6 is a film that's completely different to all of his movies. It's his first major movie, and it's about a little boy discovering what death is. This is Wide Awake, starring Dennis Leary, Dana Delaney, Joseph Cross, and Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, this is further down my list, but I just think it's funny that Rosie's on the cover of the poster.
Yeah,
She's like barely in it.
I know.
All right, my number 6 was also one that I had not seen from his. I had mentioned it earlier. Uh, Watching this movie, I was wondering where it was going, why it was going the way that it was. It's definitely a made up movie, but the what got me was that it is a bedtime story, and Lady in the Water really really stuck with me after watching it, and I enjoyed it even more knowing that it was a bedtime story, because that is what is told throughout the movie, and it is
That
my number 6.
that's a lot down the list.
Well, it can't be a lot, lot. We're almost halfway done. So, uh, what's your number 7?
My 7 is the conclusion of this trilogy. Glass.
Well, that is my 8th. So let's just talk about it.
Yes.
Go
I
ahead.
think this was an interesting uh, third chapter apart from the last act.
Yeah, I think we were all kind of excited about this one, after knowing that Split and Unbreakable were, stuck together and woven together. We get to see all the 3 characters from the 2 movies together on one.
Yes.
And I think what really helped this movie was the coloring and the production design. Of course, you got 3 great actors as well. Well, 4 if you include Miss Sarah Paulson, who's incredible.
And Anya's back.
And Anya's back, yeah. And then M. Night gives his little cameos as well. This time it's a security guard. David Dunn uses his supernatural abilities to track Kevin, who we just talked about, a disturbed man who has 24 personalities. So they're trying to keep him, stable.
Yes.
And I think Bruce did a good job, but you can't. James McAvoy tried to replicate his performance in Split, and it can't be really replicated. But yeah, I agree. The ending was a little bit off, but the movie itself is pretty good. It's
Yeah.
disturbing, gets you through it. Again, it has the Marvel, it has the superhero and villain vibe to it, which really showcased the entire movie.
Yes.
Do you think there's going to be a 4th?
No, because they all won't be in it.
Sure. Doesn't mean that it can happen, though, huh?
Yeah, but oh yeah, they could find other characters that have superpowers.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe Anya got something. Maybe she got a little bit. All right.
Maybe, or Samuel L. Jackson's mum.
Ooh. But yeah, I'd like to see James McAvoy come back and do this performance again.
Yeah, I would.
Samuel L. said with working with James that as good as I like to think that I am or what I do and how I do it, watching somebody transform characters in front of your eyes and have an argument with 4 different people is pretty amazing. You all right over there?
Yeah, I'm alright.
You're scratching up against something, making noise.
I'm just messing around, just playing with the corners of my laptop.
Oh, well, it's making a lot of noise on this end.
I do apologize.
No, it's cool. Cool. Yeah, Glass. My number 8.
So what's your number 7?
And that was your number
7.
7. All right, 6.6 sitting over there for IMDb. $20 million budget. Worldwide gross 246.9. I mean, what? Look at that. He's just doing so well every time he's making money. However, 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, but the 67% for the audience score.
Nice.
All right, my number 7 doesn't get a lot of love. It is, it's not the best, but I do think it's better than the movies that we're about to start talking about. I think that it was really interesting, something that we, hadn't really seen before, and of course, only M. Night can give us something like this. This movie stars Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel, and it's The Happening.
That's a lot down my list.
Cool. What is your number 8?
My number 8 is an interesting choice because I've only watched it once. It's a film I keep meaning to revisit. It's got some amazing actors in it. It's shot by a legendary cinematographer, scored by a legendary composer, and I just can't remember whether I like this film or not, but it's a really interesting movie because I really like the concept, and the ending wasn't that bad, but I wasn't really surprised by the ending, but I thought it was an interesting one, and it's The Village.
Which is my number 9. So let's
So
talk about it.
so he returns with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes, he does.
The one I remember most is
And Bryce Dallas Howard.
and Adrian Brody. I don't really remember Joaquin in this movie.
Yeah, well, I remember Bryce for sure. Adrian kind of comes more towards the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sigourney Weaver, William Hurt, Celia Weston,
Brendan Gleeson,
Cherry Jones.
Judy Greer, Michael Pitt, Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a movie, The Village, is a series of events test the beliefs of a small, isolated countryside village. Production design in this is pretty phenomenal. It looks like, I don't know where they filmed it, but they probably have to build this little town, this little village in this sort of forest area. And there's a creature that comes around at night. And these people sort of live plantation style, crops and all that. Pretty good. It's like a period piece.
Yes.
And has a crazy character. But yeah, it takes place in Pennsylvania in a desolate town. They live by strict rules, and they are not to leave the village, or the monsters beyond their boundaries will surely attack them.
Yeah.
But when you have
and how did M. Night manage to afford Roger Deakins?
well, this is 2004, so he had done Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Sign. So I'm pretty sure he was there. He was like, "Hey, those 3 movies did pretty well. Let's see how we can do with this one."
Yeah.
And it helped, right? Having him as the cinematographer definitely helped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going through this movie was fine. I didn't really latch on to any characters necessarily,
No.
and the twist at the end is a surefire M. Night twist, no doubt.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know about this one though. This one was it's better than the ones we're gonna still continue to go down on, in my opinion. But it's not great. It's not great, but it is interesting and something unique. And again, that twist really will make you want to talk about it.
Yes.
Did this one win any pumpkins?
It won Best Original Score.
Best original score.
Who was also James Newton Howard.
Oh wow! Did not know that. Trying to look up the score here real quick. Okay, what were we talking about? The Village. 57% from the audience, 43 from the critics, 6.6 on IMDb. Nominated for one Oscar, we'll find out in 1 minute. $60 million budget, worldwide gross, $256 million. Another hit. I'm going to say production design. What do you think it was nominated for?
I've googled his Best Original Score. He lost Finding Neverland, which I've never seen. But out of Prison of Azkaban, Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, and The Passion of the Christ, I'd have to go with Harry Potter to John Williams. And the first three Harry Potter films he scored all have this iconic score to it.
Passion of the Christ. Pretty good, too.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
All right. Well, there you have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's my number 9. What's your number 9?
We can go back to talking about Signs, so that's my number 9.
Ooh, my number 2. This is about a widowed former reverend living with his children and a brother in Pennsylvania again. On a Pennsylvania farm, he finds mysterious crop circles in their fields, which suggest something more frightening to come.
Yes, and the twist to this movie ruins the whole movie, in my opinion.
Why?
So, if you're allergic to a certain element, why go to a planet that's full of that certain element?
Water?
Yes, why? If you're allergic to water, why go to a planet made of water? And instead of whacking the alien into jars of water, why not just throw a whole jug of water over the alien, or get a hose and just squirt them to death?
Did they know that, though? I think
What?
they figured it out after, so they were just trying to defend themselves with brute force, because that's what, humans like to do.
And I didn't like the design on the aliens. It felt too, you know, the technology wasn't ready, wasn't great back then.
Well, yeah, and plus we don't even know what they look like, and they seemed like this one, they just went pretty typical on this one. Typical alien looking.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting, and it's one that I have revisited over and over. I own it on DVD. I enjoy the dynamic of the brothers and the kids. Rory Culkin's in there, Abigail Breslin, Cherry Jones is back. M. Night does his little cameo, of course, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Mel Gibson.
But Joaquin did win the Pumpkin for Best Supporting Actor that year.
Oh, nice. Did not get nominated for any Oscars. Yeah, I'm glad that he's kind of gone away from the alien sort of world. But yeah, gave us Swing Away, big quote, and then a lot of people spoofed this movie. But I enjoy it. Again, did really well in theaters. $72 million budget with a worldwide gross of $408 million. So far, he's been in the black. He is killing it. 6.8 on IMDb. 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, 67% for the audience.
Right.
Cool.
So what's your number 9?
My number 9 was The Village.
Nice.
What's your number 10?
Old.
Old?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. My number 4. What don't you like about this movie?
I love Gal Garcia Bernal. I love Rufus Swell. I love Alex Wolff. I love Thomasin McKenzie and a couple of the other actors in this movie. But they all felt so bad. Like Garcia Bernal is an actor I expect a cracking performance of because of Amos Peros and Coco, but he just doesn't do it for me in this movie. And I'm not judging Alex Wolff and Thomasin McKenzie as actors. I know they're still young and up and coming, but they have Hereditary. Alex Wolff killed it in, and Thomasin McKenzie killed it in Last Night in Soho. Why can't they do performances like they did in this movie? And everything just looks really like cheaply made. Like you can tell they're all on like a green screen instead of a beach. And some of the dialogue feels like it was written by his children, and like Shyamalan. And the twist just kind of gives off a really bad message.
Which is?
No, you should take people out their misery if they have illnesses.
Well, it was on a beach in the Dominican Republic. Maybe some had to be reshot that was green screen. But yeah, I think this was filmed beautifully. I think it was very, very interesting. You know, you go to this beach and then all of a sudden you rapidly age. Some crazy things happen, like pregnancy on this beach and birth. I think a lot of people were wondering why the mom didn't recognize her kids when they had grown up. Well, how would she know what they look like all grown? She never got to watch them age, so how would she know? Um, yeah, Gael Garcia Bernal. He's now in a movie called Cassandra that I really want to check out. But Vicky Krieps, she's from
Phantom
Phantom
Thread.
Thread,
Yes,
which
and she's phenomenal in that movie. Why can't she be phenomenal in this movie?
I think what they did was their jobs in this movie. They didn't have to, you know, necessarily like act their balls off. They just were doing what the project needed, and I think it worked out. It's very mysterious throughout the entire movie. You're wondering what the heck is going on, but if you see the poster, it kind of gives it all away. Yeah, just another one of those vacation movies that was really interesting. Came out during pandemic times.
It's based off a French comic book.
Right. Which is pretty interesting. But yeah, he also makes his own appearance again. He's in the movie.
Wonder if he's the same guy in each movie.
Yeah. Well, in The Lady in the Water, we'll talk about it in a bit. Yeah, he's like a main player in the movie, which is crazy. Yeah, to me, this was just something that was unique, something I hadn't seen before. You know, twists, kind of. But what you had to do to get away from it was a little interesting. But yeah, M. Night, he's such an interesting director. He's very, you know, he can do almost any sort of genre. We'll talk about that as well with like Wide Awake. This one, you know, was more on the mystery side than horror side, but he does have some creature features in here. which was interesting, and the sound design was really interesting as well. I enjoyed it. My number 4, that was your number 10.
Yep.
5.8 on IMDb. Still did well in theaters. Not the best he's done. $18 million budget. Worldwide gross, though, $90 million. Which I just can't believe that it's all so high up there. 50% from Rotten Tomatoes, 53% from the audience.
I know other people that didn't like Old.
Yeah, most people don't.
Yeah, I want to know what Cody thinks too Old. I'm gonna have to ask him.
Yeah. I'm going to say he liked it more than you, less than me.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. My number 10 is a movie that gave us a pairing of a father and son. Pretty unique idea. Don't think it really hit the mark on execution. But if you put Will Smith in any movie, guaranteed I'm going to enjoy it. This one also starring Jaden Smith and Zoe Kravitz, and it's After Earth.
Which is my number 11.
Sweet. Let's talk about it.
A
This is
lot
a
of
crash landing. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, you go first.
I was just going to say what the movie's about. It's crash landing, leaves Kitai Rage and his father, Cypher, stranded on Earth a millennium after events forced humanity's escape. With Will injured, Jaden must embark on a perilous journey to signal for help. And yeah, what were you going to say?
So, I don't think this is as bad as the critics made it out to be. Like, I was expecting this to be like one of the worst movies ever made. But, you know, I don't think Jaden Smith's cut out to be a movie star, and I think Will keeps pushing him to obviously keep the family dynasty going because both his parents are actors, and I just don't think he will ever achieve the success his father has achieved.
No,
And Will
definitely.
Smith made this film for Jaden to become the next big star, and sadly, I think this wasn't really the film to do it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Will takes a back seat to his son in this movie because he's hurt and he has to sort of watch his son go on this adventure. It would have helped more had he been along the journey with him, and together they could have, embarked on this adventure. But again, something new and unique and fresh from M. Night. Nothing,
But it
we
feels
couldn't
like
really.
Will just said, I want to do this story with me and my son. Here's the story I've written down. Can you try and make it into a screenplay? And M. Night probably tried to go into Will's demands rather than just try his own ideas, which probably would have made the movie a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
Yeah.
it like I said, it just feels like Jaden isn't known to achieve the success Will Smith has, and Will needs to kind of stop pushing him in that direction.
Well, now he needs it more than ever because Will, probably won't be starring in much.
They're on about doing Bad Boys 4 after the strike's over.
Oh, well, great. Yeah, some people didn't even know that this was an M. Night movie going into it. It's co-written by Will and M. Night. And then, Zoe Kravitz is always great. This also stars David Denman. Sophie Okonedo.
She's a
She's
brilliant
great.
actor. She is, Sophie.
Yeah, she's really good. I just again, it just fell kind of flat. I was hoping a little bit more from this movie, better action, better CGI, better story, but just didn't get it from this nepotism movie. But you put Will with in anything, and it's going to do well. $130 million budget so far, one of his biggest ones. 243 million point six is what it grossed worldwide, only at 4.8 on IMDb, 12% on Rotten Tomatoes, 36% audience score. Yikes. Yeah.
I'm still here. I'm just trying to get the cat back in the house.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I say you plug in some different players in this movie and it could have worked.
Yeah. Definitely.
But really, I just think it's great that M. Night can be so expansive on his oeuvre.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's your number 11 was this one. What was your number 10?
Old.
Okay. So my number 11 is a movie that you already mentioned. I believe it's your fourth, and it's Wide Awake.
No, that's sixth.
Sixth. All right. So talk to me about Wide Awake.
So this
Just
is about,
finished it today.
So this is about a boy whose granddad dies, and he gets to experience what death is, and he starts losing his fate because of people dying and stuff.
Yeah, so after his grandfather dies, he's on the search to talk to God and to be angelic along the way. But as we go through this movie, we see this kid isn't necessarily as angelic as we think. He's turning away friendships from other kids. He's also trying different religions and doesn't really know his place when it comes to him and God. But after his grandfather dies, he really wants to become, close with him. And so he'll do almost anything to get there. This movie pretty much takes place in the school. Rosie O'Donnell's in this. Also, the main kid, Joseph Cross, we've seen lately. Dana Delaney, Robert Loggia,
Great actor.
Rosie O'Donnell, Dennis Leary, Julia Stiles, maybe one of her first.
I like Dennis
films.
Leary.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty straight man in this one. Doesn't really do too much.
His best is Ice Age.
Dan Lauria, who played the father, was the dad in the Wonder Years, so I like seeing him in that. And yeah, I don't know. This is sort of family generated. Try to be a comedy, really wasn't. Try to be dramatic, but also really wasn't. And this, out of all the movies, just didn't seem like an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
That's why I enjoyed it, because it was something different, and I feel like before he died, he kind of knew his mark. I think this is the direction he wanted to go in, because a year later he also wrote Stuart Little.
Right, and then did Sixth Sense after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good watch. It definitely was something that I hadn't seen, obviously, but I don't know what he was trying to get out of this, and if what he was looking for his audience to take from this movie.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure about that, but yeah, I mean, it was fine. It's definitely fine. It was a sweet little film.
Before he became like the slow burn filler Arthur that we all know and love.
You're talking about M. Night?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he just he just completely went into a different genre of filming after this movie. This one, even the music was stuff that we had like heard before in these other movies, and I even had heard the music it was the same music from Home Alone, and I'm like, what? This is so campy and just trying to hit all the angles of a good sort of family-friendly movie, and it just wasn't M. Night to me. But it was M. Night before he became M. Night.
Yeah,
and it's a sweet little film. Nothing crazy about it, but didn't I won't I'll be pressed to remember even the title of this movie probably in like 5 years.
yeah,
Because he does get to say the line in the movie.
yes.
I'm wide awake now. 5.9 on IMDb, and this must be his big stinker. $6 million budget, worldwide gross is $282,000. Not good at all. 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, 66% from the audience.
Nice.
All right. Well, your 11 was After Earth. What's your number 12?
The Happening.
Okay, let's talk The Happening. Tell me about it.
So this is some weird post-apocalyptic thriller where disasters start happening and they cause mass suicides. I love Mark Wahlberg. I love Zoe Deschanel. I love M. Night Shyamalan. But this was not the right project for all three of them. Like, I can't even remember the plot of this movie. All I remember is Mark Wahlberg's bad acting. And bear in mind, 2 years beforehand, he was nominated for an Oscar. Why can't he give more performances like he does in The Departed?
I'm saying he did what was asked of him for this movie. It's not he didn't go into it going, this is going to be an Academy Award winning movie or performance or director or writing. Nothing. It was it was a summer movie that came out, and it was I think I don't expect a lot from Mark Wahlberg to begin with, so
No, I don't.
I thought it was fine, and I just think it's interesting. There's a lot of great shots in this movie. It's very beautifully done and kind of harrowing a little bit. It's kind of scary. Imagine if you didn't know what was going on or why it was happening, but yeah, people were dying, and you were watching, people get run over by lawnmowers that weren't being pushed by anybody, and I just thought it was really interesting concept. And like in all Mark Wahlberg movies, you kind of have to look past his
Yeah.
acting.
But we have a reoccurring actress. Betty Buckley, who was in Split, is also in this movie, along with one of my favorite character actors, John Leguizamo.
Yeah, Frank Colizian was in this movie as well. He's been in a couple of M. Night movies.
Nice.
We also have Spencer Breslin,
Yes, he's
Jeremy
cool.
Jeremy Strong, who's really popular right now.
Yes, I love
M.
Jeremy
Night
Strong.
M. Night does a little voiceover in this. He has to make his mark. Alan Ruck from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Pretty good
Well,
cast.
him and Jeremy would later appear in a show together.
Yeah, there you go. Mark Wahlberg admits that he does regret working on this movie, but said, "You can't blame me for wanting to try to play a science teacher. At least I wasn't playing a cop or a crook," which is true. But yeah, I didn't think it was that bad. $48 million budget, worldwide gross is 163.4, sitting at 5.0 on IMDb. And The Happening is 18% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 24% audience score.
Wow.
All right. Well, my number 12, I believe, is like your number 2 or 3 or 4. It's The Visit.
Oh, that's my number 4.
Yeah. So tell us about it.
So this is about a boy and a girl who get sent to their grandparents' house, and a lot of weird stuff goes on. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of found footage movies, but him trying to parody one worked for me. And you got to see, and I thought the boy and the girl gave really good performance, and so did the grand. Well, that's and that twist I did not see coming, and I thought it was one of the best twists he's ever done.
Yeah, two siblings increasingly frightened by their parents' disturbing behavior while visiting them on vacation.
And that girl would later grow up to be Priscilla Presley in Elvis.
Olivia DeJonge.
Yes.
Yeah, Catherine Hahn's also in this
Yes, and another actor
movie.
I like called Peter McRobbie, who was in the Daredevil series.
Oh, yeah. Um, Apparently, M. Night prepared three different cuts of this film: one that was going to be pure comedy, one that was going to be pure horror, and then one that just fell somewhere in between.
Nice. I wonder which
Which it
one it
is. It
was.
does. Well, it has some like disturbing comedy to it, right?
Yeah.
Um, the grandma's rules: have a great time, eat as much as you want, and don't leave your room after 9:30. The Visit.
What
Yeah,
did
this one I don't really remember much of, which is why it's sort of lower on my list. I would have to give it a review to see, if it would pop up higher. But because I don't remember much of it, means that it didn't stick with me. So,
a lot of
but
people said it was his return to form.
oh yeah, yeah. And again, just like you said, the found footage sort of styling. It was very interestingly shot, and yeah, kind of takes place in this one sort of area, and with these kids and grandparents, not a lot to work with, but overall did pretty well. Um, what else did you like about this movie?
Um, I've I thought the kid rapping was quite funny.
Yeah. They blurred out nudity in this movie. I think that's funny, just to
Yes.
keep it so it didn't have to be NC-17. Crazy though, $5 million budget, worldwide gross is $98 million, 6.2 on IMDb, 68% of Rotten Tomatoes, 51% from the audience.
Nice.
All of his movies under 2 hours, and most of them making money.
Yep. Lots and lots of
Mm.
money. So
All
what's
right,
your 13?
my number 13 is your number two. It's Knock
Me
at
and
the
my number
Cabin.
3.
Your number three, Knock at the Cabin. You talk to me about this one.
So Jonathan Groff and Ben Ulrich are a couple in this who take their adopted daughter to a cabin in the woods for a weekend getaway. And all of a sudden, Dave Batista and three of his people show up and say to them that they have to sacrifice one of them or else the world is going to end. And every time one of them dies, something bad happens. I know Justin didn't like this movie as he stated on a previous episode, but I was the exact opposite. I thought this was M Night Shyamalan. Uh, Again, like a really big improvement from old, and when you're a Harry Potter kid who grew up with Harry Potter, just as I do, you get happy when you see a former cast member of Harry Potter in a movie, and I was so happy to see Rupert Grint in this movie.
Yeah, it was good to see him in a different role.
Yes.
Yeah, I like where it takes place. I think it's beautiful. I love cabins and woods and sort of being
And who,
isolated
does,
like
and
that.
who doesn't love Jonathan Groff?
Yeah, I think he's fantastic as the king in Hamilton, of course. Um, but it's one of the toughest decisions you'd ever have to make: is you save your family or you save humanity? What's more important? When your family is the only sort of people that wouldn't like kind of shit on you for everything. Humanity will. So it's a big, tough decision, but yeah, it was thrilling throughout. Doesn't have the M. Night ending that we normally look forward to. Uh, pretty cut and dry. We've seen these invasion movies done before, so that was another reason why I didn't really care for it too much. I guess Jonathan Groff and even Dave Bautista's performances elevated this movie just a little
Yeah,
bit.
Dave Bautista probably gave his best performance to date in this movie.
Yeah, good for him. And now he, doesn't want to play Drax anymore, so I'm sure he's going to be
No, I
looking for
think
more
he
movies
should
like
stick
this.
to these more character roles.
Yeah.
Like when I see like these wrestlers turn actors, they normally want to be like front of the movie. They're normally wooden, and like you said, their best performances are in the ring. With Dave Bautista, it feels like he's transformed into this character actor, and it's working for him because he's not trying to be big-headed and wants to be like the lead.
hmm Yeah. I guess we could have just had a little bit more character presentation. Uh, it just kind of fell flat for me. But that's okay because then you watch and you love it, and it's one of those movies that started out that came out earlier this year, and not anybody's talking about it anymore. So except for you because you just saw it.
Yeah,
There are some disturbing things to it, but ultimately we've kind of seen it before. 6.1 on IMDb, and then another one of his worst movies. $20 million budget worldwide, gross 54.7. Still did okay, but not the big numbers that he's used to. And over on Rotten Tomatoes, 67% with a 63% audience score.
nice.
And the biggest number he's ever gotten is 86% from The Sixth Sense. So people are very split on his movies.
Split.
What's your number 13?
This is probably your bottom, but I remember.
Well, I only have one
During
movie left, so
yes, so during lockdown, I watched the first season of a cartoon called Avatar: The Last Airbender. This show was a massive hit back when it was out, and this is a whole season full of lore and character development, and really stunning animation. And then Knight decides, I'm going to cram this all into one movie, cast all the actors that don't even look like the characters, but I'll get the cinematographer from Lord of the Rings. And that's the only good thing about this movie, is that it's shot by the same bloke as Lord of the Rings, so it looks stunning, but it's just all written badly, wooden, and you can tell some of the stunt people are on strings.
and so this is The Last Airbender,
Yes, this is The Last Airbender.
which is my number 14.
Is it the same reason why I don't like it?
Well, I don't remember much of it, so that's partially it. But what I do remember is that I was thinking that this was going to be this big epic movie, something like a Pirates of the Caribbean sort of epicness, and it just didn't deliver. I don't know anything about the characters. I've never seen the show, so maybe that has something to do with it. But if I'm going in not knowing much about a movie and you're not going to give me stuff to be able to follow it and understand it, then that sort of, as a creator, as a director, sort of means you're not doing what you should be doing for your audience. Um, but yeah, this is a movie that follows the adventures of Aang, a young successor to the long line of avatars who must master all four elements and stop the Fire Nation from enslaving the Water Tribes and the Earth Kingdom.
Don't you think for a second that a big story like this should be stretched out into a TV series to explore all this lore behind it?
Yeah, I mean, just definitely dive in more so we can understand it more. And you just kind of threw in this world and kingdoms and try to make us understand it, and I just didn't get it.
And if you look at the
Um,
pictures of Aang and all the other characters, they look nothing like the actors playing them. Like Dev Patel looks nothing like the character in the show, and neither do like any of the other characters.
and he's really the only main name that we know in this. Others,
Cliff Curtis.
yeah, see who?
Cliff Curtis. He was in Training Day. He was in one of the Fast and Furious films. He was in Avatar: The Way of Water.
Oh, yes, you know his face more than you know his name.
Yeah, he's like a really good character actor. He's one of the best.
Yeah, Asif Mandi's in it, Sean Taub. But yeah, kind of just fell flat for me. And I can't believe you like this more than you like The Lady in the Water. This is disgusting.
Can I tell you why I don't like What Lady in the Water? Once you read out the results of the budgets.
Yeah. Well, this is The Last Airbender is definitely one of the worst that M. Night's done. 4.0 on IMDb. Box office, however, because people were intrigued, $150 million budget with a worldwide gross of 319.7. Did well. 5% on that Rotten Tomatoes with 30% audience score.
How did the
Yeesh.
audience like it?
They barely liked it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that leaves your number 14 and my number 6. Yeah.
Yes. I admire what you say about this movie, and I completely get what you're trying to say. But for me, this comes off very pretentious, and it doesn't really feel like it was written by him. But I feel like what happened was one of his kids must have gave him the idea for this, and him rather than like doing this well, and apparently he took this idea to loads of different studios because Disney wouldn't do it, and they gave him some really interesting feedback, but he ignored all of it and just kept the script the same, and it just comes off as really pretentious. And in one scene, he actually kills off a critic character, and he tries to make out for symbol, and he tries to make it out to be like symbolistic, and also he makes his character in this movie not only a main player, but like the most important man in the world. And I'm like, oh come on, that's a bit too pretentious.
Yeah. Going through this movie, it had. Uh, it was becoming too easy. So this is about a superintendent. He works in and maintains the building. He discovers that there's a character from a bedtime story that is Chinese,
And
I
her name
believe,
is Story.
Korean.
Didn't you think of a better name than Story?
Yeah. When he learns that she's actually from a bedtime story, he tries to make this bedtime story come to life and get her back to this world that she is missing. She only survives mainly in water, which is why it's called The Lady in the Water. Bryce Dallas Howard gives a pretty good performance. This movie makes you feel one way and think another, and there's a twist in this, just like in most M. Night movies. Also starring
What
Jeffrey Wright,
another
Paul
one of my
Giamatti.
favorite cinematographers worked on this movie,
Oh
Christopher
yeah.
Doyle.
Whoa.
He mainly shoots Hong Kong movies.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty well shot.
Oh, wait till you
Yeah,
see the Hong Kong movies he shoots, like Chungking Express, Fallen Angels, In the Mood for Love. You'd love In the Mood for Love.
was that right?
Well, you love love, so, and I feel like you'd love a film called In the Mood for Love.
Possibly. Um. All right. Well, there you have it. Leading the water. Um. Yeah, I really liked it. Again, knowing that it was M. Night making his own sort of bedtime story, I thought that made it really interesting and kept me thinking about it afterwards. And of course, M. Night is one of the main players in this movie, as well as Bob Balaban, Freddie Rodriguez, Bill Irwin, Jared Harris,
And Paul
and
Newman is the lead.
yeah, with Bryce Dallas Howard.
And
Five
Jeffrey
point.
Wright, and Jeffrey Wright before he becomes the superstar phenomenal actor he is.
Yes, needs to be in all the movies. He's going to be in a movie called like Almost Home this year that's supposed to have a lot of buzz.
Yes.
$70 million budget, $72.7 million rating, 5.5 on IMDb, and 25% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 49% audience score.
Nice, love it.
Yeah, and there you have it.
Yeah.
Is M. Night doing anything coming up?
Well, I'm assuming he'll probably take a year off, and then he'll probably start writing halfway through the year off, and then he'll be shooting the movie.
There's a movie called Trap that's in pre-production. Doesn't have anything or ties. Also, an untitled M. Night Shyamalan movie, and also something else in pre-production. M. Night has been nominated twice for only for Best Director and Best Writer for Sixth Sense.
Same with the BAFTAs as well.
Check that out. All right. Well, he definitely has a wide range of movies and can do. He seems like he does them mostly pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, he has a good range. He's made his fair share of hits.
Yes. Okay. There we go. There we have it. M. Night with the twist. We did our best to worst,
Yeah,
and we didn't line up on any.
no, which is sad. But I knew at least the Sixth Sense would be like a close call.
And that Last Airbender would be close to last.
Yes.
Sweet. What have you seen lately that you've liked? Any movie or recommendation?
Oh yes. Let me just look on Letterboxd. I've started logging my films I've seen. I'm not really like written reviews as you say, but I've been trying to like log all the films that I've seen so I can remember them. Oh,
Well, while you do that, I'll talk about my movie. This is a newer movie, and the only reason why I'm talking about it, of course, we can't promote new movies and other things during the strikes because I am a SAG member and SAG is on strike as well as the Writers Guild. But this is a movie that is an A24 movie, and A24 has said yes to everything the writers asked for and yes to everything that the actors have asked for. So that's the only production company that's allowed to move forward with the actors and writers at this time. And that movie is Talk to Me, the new horror film. It's
yeah, that's
about
on my list to
this.
watch.
Yeah, it's about this wooden hand that when you put your hand into it, you sort of
Justin.
Sorry, could you say that again? The people that you encounter in this world are asking to let them in, and if you let them in, crazy things start happening. So don't ever let them in. But I thought the story itself was pretty interesting. I really enjoyed the main actress in it. She did a really good job.
and it's not. It's kind of something we've seen before. This is a possessive movie. Things take over your body, but I thought it was done a little more interesting. Um, it's a game that they wanted to play, while they're hanging out at a party, and it just goes wrong. And the main actress, uh, she's trying to Sophie Wilde. She's trying to interact with her mom, which is why she's so interested in this whole process. And when you want something, you will do whatever it takes to get it, but doesn't mean that you should. Check out A24's Talk to Me.
Nice, nice. So I've been catching up on horror films. I watched Pearl for the first time, and I completely loved it. But the film I'm going to recommend is one not everyone is talking about, and it's Al Condi. And I really want everybody to see this movie and just tell me what they thought to it.
Yeah, I've heard good things about this one.
Yeah,
Uh, Centers on August Pinochet, who is not dead but an aged vampire. After living 250 years in this world, he has decided to die once and for all. Is
nice.
is it an international film?
Yes, it's from the director of Spencer, and it's in his native Chilean. So they all speak Spanish. But I thought this was really fun, and it was really nice satire on obviously history and stuff, and just really told a really bizarre story that I really enjoyed. It sucks that this movie isn't on the short list for international films.
It is.
It isn't.
Oh, that's too bad. Same director of Jackie as well.
Yes,
Nice. Yeah, I'll check this one out. Seems interesting.
yes, yes. I don't want to ruin it for you because I know you like going in with little. So
Yeah, cool. Well, there's two movies for you to check out right now. Talk to Me is available to rent, and El Condi is on a streaming service that everyone knows and has.
yes, and I've also watched Pop Star Never Stopping, which was hilarious.
Yeah, classic. Beautiful.
But
What?
but I also watched Evil Dead Rise, and I was disappointed in it.
As was I.
Too much blood.
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
All right. What do you want to do next time?
Oh, there's a tough call actually. Have we not done this before? Let's do our top five favorite anthology movies.
Anthology movies, huh?
Yeah, like films with different stories in them.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. None are really coming as. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There's a few in here. All right. I think I can come up with five.
Yeah, I think I could come up with five.
Ooh. There's one that I want to see if it would make my list.
And what's that?
Twilight Zone, the movie.
I recommend Creep Show if you've not seen that.
Okay. Creep Show.
Yeah.
Let me see. This one.
Yeah, I know.
1982
982, yep, that's the one.
by Stephen King and
Yep, that's the one.
George A. Romero.
Yep.
All right. Let's see if it's playing anywhere. Amazon. Okay. All right. Anthology movies it is.
Sweet. Well, I thought it might help us, because there are a few horror anthology films. I thought that could ease us into the Halloween spirit.
Yes. Sounds good.
Yes, and I will be announcing the 2022 to 23 Halloween Pumpkins nominees.
On Wednesday,
Yes.
I'll look forward to watching that.
Yes, I hope you'll be happy with the nominees.
Well, I'm sure Knock at the Cabin's going to have more than I'd like, but that's okay. Cool. Well, we'll do that then. Until then, check out this and all of Rob's stuff. Let us know your favorite M. Night Shyamalan movies and the worst from down below. Give us a like and a follow, comment. Tell us what you think about this episode and what episodes you'd like us to do next.
Yes, and make sure you stay tuned for when we talk our anthology movies.
Yeah, we'll do that next time. And until then.
Until then, bye, Justin.
All right, Rob. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you for watching.